2019 was a great year for gamers, with titles like Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, Sekiro Shadows Die Twice, Resident Evil 2, Dead Stranding, Mortal Kombat 11, Metro Exodus, Gears 5, Call of Duty Modern Warfare. Everyone had at least one awesome game in almost every genre, but as good as 2019 was for gaming nerds such as myself, some heavy-ass titles got delayed till 2020. Of course, I'm talking about The Last of Us Part 2 and Doom Eternal. But that's neither here nor there, because today I want to talk about my 3 games for 2019. Hi, I'm Gabriel, and without any further ado, let's get this thing rolling, shall we? At number 3 is Resident Evil 2, the remake. Now, I've never played the original when I was but a wee lad, but as soon as I've heard this one hit the market, I didn't bat an eyelash. The entire internet was raging about how good it is and so on, and for the most part, I agree. But I still have one bone to pick with it. In my opinion, it won't be that popular with the kids. First of all, I really dig the overall aesthetics of the game. From the well thought out color palette to the same high quality crafted darkness versus light parts of the game. The gameplay is not too shabby either, I enjoyed it for the most part. But I didn't appreciate that sometimes I had to put 10 to 15 bullets in the head of some zombie douchebag when the ammo is already scarce as hell. Another part of the game that's really well done is the fear factor achieved with the X element. Well, Mr. X to be exact. This hulking, towering tyrant is a chilling and haunting presence from the second he gets screen time. Trust me, you have to play to truly appreciate this mechanic. And speaking about mechanics, here's the bone I have to pick with the game. To me, the entire game is standing in its own way and was hindering my experience. The fact that it's basically a maze with locked doors that I have to find keys to open, to find other pieces of the puzzle, to unlock other parts and find other pieces and so on, really annoys me. But as I've said, maybe it's just me. Maybe because I prefer a third-person action-adventure game to be more streamlined and easy to traverse, like Uncharted for instance, or The Last of Us, I don't know. All in all, it's a fantastic game that makes the horror genre proud. That's why it sold over 5 million copies. Now it's time to move on to number 2, Dead Stranding. Although this is more of a walking simulator than a revolution in gameplay, what struck me the most was the story. That and the realism elements Kojima chose to use. The fact that Sam is just your everyday courier and not a souped-up uber soldier like Nathan Drake that can take an RPG to the face and still go on making orphans out of children. Anyway, Death Stranding is an experience I have rarely seen in a video game just because of how these two elements are combined. The way Kojima wrote the story is pure genius. At times it got so complex, I couldn't keep up with the flow, and towards the end, I was having a hard time trying to understand every bit of information that was thrown at me. Basically, there are 2 kinds of stories. The ones that use well-established rules from reality or lore we all know, like the known laws of physics for example. And then we have the stories that make up their own set of rules and you have to learn them on the go. In this case, you have to memorize this new info and use your brain to imagine how it all comes together. Such is the case of Death Stranding, which means that the writers put a buttload of work and man-hours into creating this universe. This is why it's my number 2 for this year. Not at all for the repetitive gameplay and lack of innovation in this regard. Even the shooting is bad, let alone the awful pacing in which you unlock weapons and gear. So for me at least, it was the story that made me overlook these shortcomings. Coming in hot at number 1 is the game that made a douche out of every game critic that gave it a bad score all over the world, Days Gone. It's simple, I just loved it, more than anything else this year. To me, Days Gone is a basic third-person open-world action-adventure game that doesn't innovate much in any aspects. But what it does great by its own standards. The graphics are awesome. The textures, the lighting, the character models, well, basically everything looks really well done. The gameplay elements, as I've said, are great, but nothing groundbreaking. They serve their purpose well, and basically I don't have anything that bad to say about them. The story, though, is what made me pour 4 to 5 hours a day without pee breaks. It's just good, really well written. Okay, except for one part that didn't really make a lot of sense, but it could all be excused in some regard. The story is the reason why I was plowing through the quests, because I wanted to see what the hell was gonna happen next. Because the pacing between the story and gameplay elements is well done. I didn't have to play for 3 or 4 hours to get a new cutscene. And every time I got one, I was rewarded appropriately with a new plot twist or a new intrigue that just kept me going. All throughout the game I was having a blast, and that's what it's all about, having a great time with your free time. For me, it just happens that in 2019, the game that did this the most is Days Gone. Same with Spider-Man in 2018. Most fun I've had with a game that entire year. And yes, of course, Days Gone didn't tickle everyone's fancy, but I just don't care. No reviewer can take away my experience with it, and that should be your goal too, no matter what game you play. And no one is supposed to ruin your fun just because they didn't like something. But anyway, trolls be trolling, I've been Gabriel, and see you next time. But in the meantime, I want to know what your favorite games were from 2019. Peace. Oh, and honorable mentions of course are Gears 5, which is a great game, Metro Exodus, which is a fantastic open world single player experience with godsend graphics, Sekiro Shadows Die Twice, which is just pure awesomeness. And of course, my favorite online shooter, which I see myself playing all throughout next year as well, Call of Duty Modern Warfare. It's phenomenal as a multiplayer shooter, and the level of fun is through the charts for me. That's all, see ya, bye.